Hello, 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 hello. I can't see if I'm live yet, so I am just going to wait till I come on. Let's have a look. Am I live? Can someone tell me if they can see me? Say hello if you can see me, that would be awesome. Say hello if I am live. I think I am live. That's awesome. I can see two people on, so say hello. Tell me what your name is, where you're watching from. I would love to know. I'm super excited to be here for you for day 2 of Disrupt the Pattern. Just checking my phone for any comments because the comments take a wee while to get through. So anyway, here we are. Super exciting. So I was loving watching some of the comments that you were putting in yesterday. I know I've got a few still to reply, which I will do that straight after this live actually. But yeah, just loving seeing some of your reflections, and I think that if you haven't seen day 1, please go back and watch it. It's super awesome because I talked through the main love myths actually that are actually holding you back in love, and we talked a little bit to start with about the types of relationship patterns that you might find yourself caught in, what this looks like in dating and love, and then also those myths, those things that sit underneath it which actually drive our behavior. So, you know, a really important thing is like to firstly to realize, okay, so what is my main love myth that I believe, and actually to realize that this is just a belief, this is not a truth. And so, you know, really realizing that can give us so much power to actually decide not to live by that belief anymore. So I'm just going to wait and see if anyone gets on. I can't see any comments, so if you could just, whoops, I've just come out of my group. Hang on. I'm just going to go back into my group so I can see comments. Let's see. Okay, looking forward to today. That's awesome. Oh, I can see a few comments now. Let's have a look. Oops, let me turn. Debbie, hello. Joe, hello. Jane, hi. Awesome to have you on. Okay, so let's get started. And anyone else that watches this on the replay, please say replay. Hopefully we'll get a few more people on as we continue. So got some more slides to share with you today. So I'm just going to put those up. Here we go, and I'll just wait for those to come up. And if you come on the live, please say hi. Tell me how you found yesterday. Okay, so here we go. So we've got the slides. Okay, so here we are in day 2, Disrupt the Pattern. So welcome to day 2. So here we are doing some work around making the unconscious conscious. And who has seen this? Who's seen this picture before? This is actually quite a common picture that you see in terms of representing the unconscious, the iceberg. And so I just love this picture just because we look at how much of that iceberg is under the water. And this is great in terms of thinking about our unconscious, the things that sit in our unconscious that drive our behavior, fears, thoughts, belief, feelings, experiences, urges. We have all of this stuff that sits below and drives so much of our behavior. And I think it's something like it drives 95% of our behavior, particularly in relationships and dating. And then we've just got this tiny little bit peeking above the top, which is the bit that we're actually aware of. So give me a yes in the comments if you've seen this iceberg diagram before. I think it's a great one. Just going to have a little sip of my water. Oh my God, I just get so thirsty when I'm speaking. Okay, so making the unconscious conscious today, and then I just wanted to bring in this as well. You might not have seen this. This is another way of looking at the unconscious. I'm just going to very quickly whiz through this, but it's called the egg diagram. And so look at this as being your unconscious. And so here down the bottom here, we've got the lower unconscious. So it's the bottom part of this egg. If we look at this and we think that this whole egg shape represents our psyche. So the bottom of this represents our lower unconscious. So this is where we have those thoughts, feelings, memories, experiences, feelings like shame, fear, jealousy, everything we repress and deny in ourselves sits down here in our basement. And that's also another, you know, if you have heard the word shadow work, it sits in the shadow, the aspect of ourselves that is unlit, that we don't know about, and drives so much of our behavior. And then also we have up here, we have the higher unconscious. So this is our gold. This is like the parts of ourselves that we haven't yet owned. You know what I mean? It's our really stepping into our light, our value, you know, our intelligence. It's really the magic, the gold, the joy, the higher aspects of ourselves. And so what we want to do is, we've got the center here. We've got a center. This is my conscious self, you know, or my I. But what we want to do is, we have around this, we have our field of consciousness. So this is the aspects of everything that's floating around in my psyche that I'm aware of. And so in our inner work, we're wanting to make this field of consciousness as big as possible. And so that's what I'm talking about when we're making the unconscious conscious. We want to bring stuff out of our unconscious because we're not aware of it. So we're behaving in particular ways that we're not aware of because of the stuff that sits down here. And so we want to pull some of this stuff from our lower unconscious into our field, into our awareness. And when we have it in our awareness, then we can make a decision to do something different. So this is what we're going on to talk about today. We're going to start to look at some things that are in your lower unconscious that you're not aware of. Bring some stuff out of your basement so that actually we can break some relationship patterns. So, oops, let's go. Okay, so here I just want to cover these are the two main unconscious patterns that you have that will be driving the way that you behave in relationships. So the first one is, we attract or choose people who mirror how we feel about ourselves. And so, you know, what I mean by this is the mirror. So if this is happening for you, what you'll find yourself doing is, you'll find yourself getting into relationships with people who are low value or low effort. And the reason for this is sitting right at the very bottom of this is that, you know, for some reason you believe you are not deserving of love. And so what you do is, because you have that belief or that experience maybe from your childhood that you're not deserving of love, and we don't consciously think this, but it drives our behavior, because it drives the people that we let in and the people we choose to invest in. So, you know, if this is you'll tend to have very low expectations in relationships because you believe you're not deserving. You know, you'll find yourself being interested in people that are not wanting to have a relationship with you. And also, I've observed as well in women that I've worked with that have this particular unconscious belief and pattern, is that they're very flippant. They can be very flippant about the way that people treat them. So they'll be trying not to care that a guy's like coming in and out of their life, or they find themselves repeatedly getting into casual relationships when they know they don't want this. So is this you? Does any of this resonate with you? Give me a word if this is you. I'd be interested to know. I'll just stop for a minute. I'll just stop while I see if any comments come through, because there's a little bit of a delay here. I'll come back and check in the comments. But anyway, if this is you, what I want to say to you is, it doesn't have to be this way, because it really doesn't have to be this way. Imagine what it would be like for you to be able to set boundaries and really believe that it is safe to do this. So, you know, often we can't set boundaries because, you know, we have that belief that we're not deserving somewhere sitting inside of us. We're not deserving of love. But imagine being that woman. You know, it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to live out of this pattern. You know, how would it be for you to actually really be able to set boundaries? And also, you know it is safe for you to set boundaries and have that deep knowing that the right man for you will stay. So you're not living out of that fear that I'm always going to be abandoned, because that's the main reason actually that, you know, women struggle in this particular pattern, is that they don't feel deserving and they're afraid to set the boundary that they need to, because they think that the man won't stay. And then what happens is, because they're caught in this cycle, and so that, you know, they're just getting more and more evidence that a man won't stay. I can see Jane said something here. Yes, you just had an experience like this. Debbie says, actually not me. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, so anyway, you know, when we can actually know that it's safe for us to set boundaries, because we don't have that belief that is sitting underneath there that, I'm not worthy, this will have a massive change in the type of people that you attract into your life. And, what would it be like for you to be that woman that actually is able to have a committed relationship? So she says no to casual relationships, and she actually has the commitment of someone that wants to marry me. And another one as well is, imagine what it would be like for you, like to step out of this pattern and actually not settle in relationships. And this was actually a really big thing for me, actually, in terms of settling in relationships. I would think that I wouldn't be able to get the type of person that I wanted to be in a relationship with. So what I would do is I would settle in relationships and I would lower my expectations in relationship. And so then what I would do is I would not have the chemistry there. So my relationships would keep ending because I couldn't commit. And then I thought that I couldn't do relationships, where it was actually the work that was necessary for me to do was to really believe that I was deserving of love and know this, really have that inner knowing. And so that actually then I was able to step out of my fear and choose. And that was I remember that moment, when I started to choose in my relationships, and it's such an empowered place to be, like to actually choose who you want to be with instead of accepting people that want to be in a relationship with you. So that was a big pattern for me personally, actually. And the other thing as well that I've also seen is, like what would it be like to, to be able to be yourself in front of someone in relationship and not be scared of being rejected, know that you can show fully yourself, and that they will still love you. So this is the stepping out of that belief that I am undeserving, and this is the breaking of that mirror. The other thing that I see with women that are caught in this pattern is either they find themselves getting into relationships with people that are low effort or low value, or they get into a relationship and then they attempt to destroy the relationship that they were in. And the reason for this is that the contrast is too big. So, how they feel about themselves in terms of like whether it would be possible for someone to love and like me, how I feel about that deep down. And then if we get into a relationship with someone and the contrast is too big, we can't hold this. And so then we want to destroy it. And again, I see this a lot as a relationship pattern. And the thing about this is it's like, what I can't accept in myself, I will reject in you. And, I had a client actually, and an ex-client, and she had to do some deep work around this because she got into a relationship, and the guy that she was with, so firstly she got herself out of the pattern of always attracting bad boys. And then once she broke this pattern and then got into a relationship, a committed relationship, and this was the first proper committed relationship that she'd had in her life, and she was in her mid-30s, the guy that she was with was really into her, and he really wanted to commit to her, and he was very loving towards her. And for her, a really big thing for her, she always thought she had to look really feminine. She always thought that she had to look sexy all the time. She thought that's what a man would that's how she thought she would need to be in order for a man to love her. And then when he didn't mind her, like, without makeup and, hanging around the house in tracksuit pants and still loving her and still desiring her and just wanting to accept her unconditionally, she just couldn't handle that. And because she felt ugly inside, and so what she did instead is she turned it on him, and she rejected him and judged him and really like devalued his love and like criticized him and judged him. And so that was a way that she was trying to destroy that love, because she couldn't hold the contrast for how she felt about herself inside and how she had to be as a woman, and how he was so willing to accept her was too much of a contrast. So then what her journey in that was actually, really starting to accept herself and like herself and love herself. And so then that lessened the contrast, and so she was able to let his love in. And this is how, when we start to do our inner work, and then we step into relationship, it can be very healing. So this is the movement from the unconscious into the conscious. So here I am, I'm completely unconscious here, and then as I move into the more conscious part of myself, I attract who I am. So I really start to, hold the belief that actually I'm lovable and I'm deserving of love. And this changes how I'm able to behave in a relationship, so I can hold the love of someone else, and also the types of ways that, you know, I also behave in my relationships, because I can set these empowered boundaries. I can choose not to invest in casual relationships. I can say no to those. I don't need to settle. So let me know what you think. Does any of that resonate with anyone? I'd love to know. Let's have a look. I'll just check back the comments. So Stacey's saying, this is definitely my pattern. So tell me more, Stacey. I'd love to know. Give me a bit more detail. Hi, Maria. How are you? I can relate. I'm giving myself permission to be authentic. And I think this is a really big thing, actually. And I was actually talking to another woman last week, actually. We were talking about what we can accept in ourselves. You know, if we can't accept something in ourselves, then we reject it in others. And this woman that I was on a call with, we were talking about the fact that she struggled to be in relationship because she ended her relationships, and she was in a relationship at the moment with a man that put on a lot of weight over lockdown, and she had all of these rules herself about her own weight and how she could and how she was allowed to look. And so when he put on weight and she put on a bit of weight, he still unconditionally loved her. He still wanted to be with her, but she really started to judge and reject him, because he was showing her a part of herself that it was okay to put on a bit of weight and I can still be loved, that she couldn't accept in herself. So, you know, it really shows us a lot. Firstly, when we're in a relationship, what we're able to hold and not hold. And also right at the very beginning, this is a crucial piece, you know, the mirror, like how we feel about ourselves, and working on those beliefs so that we can start to attract, you know, who we really are. I attract who I am. I attract my own energetic match. That's what it is. And the beliefs I hold about myself. And this is the work, actually, this is the work that I, you know, teach my clients, so that we can change the beliefs, so that then they can up level the way that they are able to be in relationship and the types of people that they are attracted to and invest in. So let me see. So Debbie says, I'm in a committed, healthy relationship with myself right now. Great. What is it if the other way, when the man sabotages? What do you mean by that, Maria, when he sabotages? It might be the next pattern I'm about to talk about. So I'm going to bring you on to the next pattern. So that was the first one, the first main unconscious pattern. We attract and choose people who mirror how we feel about ourselves. And the next one is this one here. Whoops. Okay, sorry. The next one here is I choose people who recreate situations from my childhood in an attempt to heal. And so what we're talking about here is the imago. So the imago is basically an internalized shadow figure that we have from childhood. And lots of people are like, when they find out about this, they're like, I can't believe that I'm attracted to people that represent parts of my parents from my childhood. But this is what actually happens. We have this like internalized shadow figure, and that internalized shadow figure has traits of both our parents, their negative and their positive traits. And so the way that imago tends to work is that the negative traits have the most power. So for example, if you had a parent and you experienced neglect, abuse, criticism, indifference, disappointment, feeling ignored, feeling unloved, those are the types of traits that will get built into your imago. And then as an adult woman, you'll be very attracted to people that actually feel the same to you, because it'll feel familiar. You'll be attracted to someone that criticizes you. You'll be attracted to someone that feels indifferent towards you. This is why you see a lot of women who say that they're anxiously attached, and they are attracted to avoidant attachment style people, because this is, and if you're anxiously attached in some way as a child, your needs weren't met, you were unloved in some way. And so, you're really wanting a lot of love in relationship. And so what happens here is we have this imago match. And the thing about our imago match as an adult, we are most strongly attracted to the people that are least able to give us what we need. So for example, for me, I know the work around my imago was that, I had an absent father, and so I was very attracted to men as an adult woman that were absent in some way, because I was trying to I was part of me, and this is unconscious to us, part of me was trying to recreate that situation in an attempt to heal. And so I would find myself in different situations that basically I had this experience of being ignored as a child. And so the strongest part of my imago comes from my father, my absent father. He was physically there, but he was emotionally absent. And so, I really, wanted to feel number one. I wanted my needs to be met. And so sometimes I would get into relationships with men where my needs were met and they would treat me like number one. But then there would be no chemistry there for me. And so I'd get into these relationships and then end up leaving them and then feel like, oh my God, I just can't commit. For some reason, I just can't seem to find someone and I can't commit to them. And then other times I would get very attracted to people and into relationships with people that were very absent. And so the work is, what we want to do is we want to work on our own imago. And so we want to decrease the intensity of that. So we work, for example, on our own, mother or father wound, and we decrease the intensity of that. So then what happens is there is a shift in the type of people we're attracted to, because no longer are we strongly attracted to these people that are the least able to give us what we need in relationships. So for example, this is where you see, and I've got a client like this that I was working with, always really anxiously attached, always trying to invest in men that were unavailable and that were avoidant, so always being rejected and being hurt. And then as we worked together, she started to decrease the intensity of that need. And so then recently she's got into a relationship with a man that's more secure, and so she's still being triggered in relationship, but they're both able to stay in relationship, and he's more able to give her what she needs. And for myself, for my current relationship, I still work on my imago, so I still have this part of me that I still have, I still had the experience as a child of being ignored and having an absent father, and then I bring this into my relationships, and I want, I want to get my needs met, and I can tend to really pull, I can really want to be very vocal about getting my needs met in relationship. And then my partner that I'm with at the moment, her imago was that she had a very critical parent, and so she wants to withdraw when I want to pull. So and it becomes a power struggle, my longing for attention, and she wants to pull back because, her imago gets triggered. But the thing is we've both worked on ourselves. We come together in this relationship. We're able to stay in relationship now. So we're not, we haven't got a whole lot of, some of our imago has been altered in our own personal work before we came together. And then now in relationship, we're able to talk about what we need, and we've got more capacity within each other to meet each other's needs. So I don't know if I went into way too much explanation on that. Because I'm very passionate about that. So this is the type of thing that I do with my clients. Actually, we work on your imago. And so, the imago often sits below driving what, when women are really caught in a very repetitive pattern of only going for avoidant men, or, for example, always choosing people that are unavailable in some way. So let's see what is in the comments. Oh, I can't see them for some reason. Okay. Maria, yes, when everything is going well and then the man starts acting out. So Maria said, I felt unseen and insignificant with my father. Exactly. And so then I imagine that, you'll be recreating this with the people that you are attracted to, because that's where we find our strongest, we find unconsciously our imago match. And so what we want to do is we want to, do the work on our imagos, and this is the type of work that I help my clients with. So we decrease the intensity, so then we can get into a more healthy relationship with someone that's more able to give us what we need, and then we continue to heal in relationship, because relationships are these containers where we continue to heal. So it's not just getting into it, but we also want to heal as well. So let me know if any of that resonates. And so then I just wanted to bring you onto this. So shifting your beliefs. So these are the types of shifts in beliefs that will get you closer to breaking your relationship patterns. And so what's really required here to shift those beliefs is something that I teach my clients, which is more about like the conscious, the unconscious, the mindset, and the energetic transformation. So when you have these in place, you're really able to uplift your energy. You're able to have quantum leaps in your thinking, and then you really develop the awareness of your patterns and what needs to be healed. So you're able to break those patterns. So the types of shifts of beliefs that you then move into are these, I'm enough because I have decided I'm enough. I love this one. My value is not defined by someone else's unavailability. How many times do we make it about ourselves when someone else is unavailable or disappears or ghosts us, and we make it about us, we make it about our own value? Every relationship I'm in is an opportunity for me to heal and grow. So I love this one. I think this is really, really important one in terms of, how we see the relationships that we go into, really getting the gold from each relationship. These are my values. So again, this is a super important one, becoming that woman that can set empowered boundaries in relationships. So I know my values, and so then I can set empowered boundaries. I don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love. This is another one, and it goes back to that unconscious belief, doesn't it? In terms of like, the mirror, not feeling that I'm worthy, and so then I attract people that mirror this back to me, what I believe about myself. So I don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love. I just am. I trust myself to make the right decisions. I am safe to trust others. I'm leaning into trust. So this is another belief as well. It's another shift in belief that will get you closer to breaking these relationship patterns that we've been talking about this week. And I love this one here as well, because I know many women repeat to themselves, I attract unavailable men, but it's about, really, really going into and really, starting to believe, and we do this through our conscious, unconscious mindset and energetic shifts, is that, I attract available men, or, I attract available women. So really having this as a belief, and then we start to really change what happens to us out in the world. I love this one too. I'm always supported. Love and support is all around me. I'm never alone. So this is about really, recognizing all the support that we have around us. And that's not just, the people around us. It's like, the universe, as in, I go out into nature, I feel supported and held, and just really, really recognizing that. Another really important belief that'll get you closer to shifting your relationship patterns is I'm not my feelings. I am willing to feel my painful feelings, and I know this will pass. So again, this is around being safe, feeling safe in relationship. So how do I feel safe in relationship? Well, I feel safe in relationship because I feel safe in my emotional container. I know how to self-soothe myself. I understand my own individual stories and how it's impacted various decisions I've made. I don't judge myself, and I'm able to soothe myself, not stuck in suffering. And the last one I really love, I'm the generator of my own safety. This cannot be taken from me or from me by anyone or anything else. So let me know, which one of those resonates with you the most? I'd love to know. Maybe type a little, I should have numbered them actually. Type it in the comments to me. I'd love to know. Just see if there's been any more comments. Oh, it's really hard to see my comments today, actually. So which one of those beliefs resonates? Maria, all of them are good. I know, I love them all actually. Because you know what, a belief as well is just something that we say to ourselves over and over and over and again, and it becomes true for us. And when we know our individual story and we know how this has impacted us in our lives, then we really understand the types of people we're attracted to. We understand our Margot match. We start to move out of that. And the goal is to get into a relationship where we can continue to heal, to continue to heal and to do more of our shadow work, because we're always being challenged in relationships. So I can't see if Joe says I don't have to be perfect. Okay, I can see a couple more of you are on, but I can't see. I'd love to know what you are. I'd love to know what's a belief that resonates with you. I'm not my feelings. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going because we're near the end. So we've got the homework now. So I'd love you to reflect and post in the group. So what was your biggest takeaway from today? Have you identified any relationship patterns in your history? So we talked about the two main unconscious relationship patterns. Is there anything there that really resonates with you? And what new belief are you ready to start living? What new belief really resonated with you the most there and that you're ready to shift into? I would love to know. So if you could write a little bit about that in the group, I'll stick a post. Debbie says, these are my values. Yeah, I know, that's an awesome one. Sharon, hello, Sharon. How's it going? We're just ending now, actually. So anyway, so beautiful to be with you on today. Tomorrow we're going to start talking about the fragments of ourselves that we live out of. So we're going to talk about moving from survival into thriving and how we actually do that. So I'm super excited to share that with you tomorrow. And I can't wait to read your homework in the group. So I'm sending you loads of love and inspiration from Yorkshire, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now. One second. Okay, bye.